Hi. Are you a homeowner and you want to create your dream home, but you don't know where to start and you don't have a budget? I'm an interior designer, I'm the leading expert in vegan interior design. And the number one question I have, or my clients ask me, is how much is this going to cost? So I want to come and bring to you today how you can calculate what the cost of your home design is going to be. You may be doing a renovation. You may be um, redesigning your living room. You need new furniture for it. You may be redoing your kitchen. You may be redoing a small powder. The process is the same no matter how you or which rooms you do. If you follow this process, you're going to be able to figure out what it's going to cost you to renovate or design your kitchen so you know where to start and how much money you're going to need to get going. You may not have enough. And the worst thing about starting a project is not being able to finish because of, well, time, of course, but I'm talking about money, about the investment you're going to make. And things always cost more than you expect. So let's get started. The one thing I have to mention before we get started is that kitchens and bathrooms are slightly different than like a living room or a dining room, a bedroom, because there's a lot more hard costs, as in built-in costs, the cabinetry, etc. So I'm going to do two things. I'm first going to run through what designing a room is going to look like and what those costs are, so you can see it from um, easier angle. And then we're going to apply all of this. I'm getting closer here. We're going to apply all of this to your kitchen or bathroom because there's lots of other costs in that arena. Yeah, I think that's better light. Better light. Getting a lot of shadow, but whatever. So let's get started. You have your you have your living room. We're going to start with the living room. I'll run through a couple of rooms so you have an idea of what it's going to cost. Okay, to create your dream home, though, you have to do the first thing, which is a layout. That's my tip. That's a tip to create your dream home is a layout because creating a beautiful space. Well, for me, creating a beautiful space is easy as an interior designer. That's what I do, so it's easy for me. But it doesn't matter where you start on the budget, etc. You still have to have a good layout. So create your layout. I'm assuming you have layout already. You may have a layout in your living room, and that is the best place to start. If you don't know exactly what you want to put in there and how you're going to lay it out yet, you can start with what you currently have, and that'll give you a good idea of how much you have to spend. So, but if you're going to move into the next stage, do a layout because please don't do a new design for your room and you haven't done a layout. Things you got to make sure you got the right sizes. It's going to fit. If you're in a small space, or if you're going up and say you want to do an attic room, make sure you measure the width of your staircase to get up there. I mean, these are all tips, but we're going to get into the budget in 2 seconds here. So have a layout, or and if you have the layout and you see all the pieces that you want, you could just do it from that. But if you don't, do it from your current living room. So we're looking at a living room. Living room, typical living room. You have a sofa, 2 chairs, a coffee table, side tables, lamps, carpet, art. And that's just basic. How much is that going to cost you? Do you have any idea? So this is why you're here, because I'm going to help you figure it out. Number one, start with the big pieces. You might have 2 sofas. So start with the big pieces, have your piece of paper, and say, okay, what are you willing to spend on a sofa? If you had to buy a sofa today, what would you be willing to spend? If you don't know how much a sofa costs, what are you willing to spend? You can start with what you could make. Actually, you know what? I've just had a great idea. Make a couple of columns. This is a column of what you want to spend. Then make a column of what you spent before on the sofa. Make a column of what you reality right here. That one is going to come later. So we're going to have what you want to spend, what you spent, and reality. So let's say you want to spend, you're thinking 5,000. Okay, I'm going to spend 5,000 on a sofa, or I'm going to spend $1,000 on a sofa. Great. So what did you spend on your last sofa? That's the middle one. What did you spend on? So now the second column is, what did you spend on your last sofa? Did you spend $1,200? Did you spend $2,000? Because if you bought a sofa 20 years ago, or even 5 years ago, I can tell you right now that prices have gone up. I mean, prices have gone up on everything. And this is no different. You can go and find cheaper products, but prices have still gone up. Right now, we're just going to concentrate on what you want to spend and what you spent. Let's see how those line up. So let's say you had $5,000 in your column of what you're going to spend, and you spent $4,000 before, or vice versa. Maybe you spent $4,000 before, now you're going to spend $5,000, or now you want to spend $4,000, but you spent $5,000 before. So put that down. Put sofa, $5,000 I'm willing to spend. I spent $4,000 last time, but I want a better quality, so I'm going to spend more. All right. Chair. You got 2 lounge chairs in your living room. 2 lounge chairs. Each lounge chair. What did you spend on it before? Let's go to the middle column. What did you spend on it before? How much did you spend? $1,000? $500? Okay, $500. That's what you spent before. How much are you willing to spend now? You probably are thinking, I got to spend a little more. I mean, things are gone up again. Things are gone up. So now put down, what are you willing to spend? All right. You want some quality. You want to have a little more choice. You spent $500 last time on these chairs, and how long did they last, and what do they look like? So you want some quality. So now you will use $1,500. $1,500. But times that by 2. Right? Times that by 2. Because you got 2 chairs. Coffee table. Coffee table, how much you spend on that coffee table? $500. Okay, spend $500 on the coffee table. And how much are you willing to spend? Well, you're willing to spend $1,000 now. Put that down. Put that in the column. What else have we got in the living room? You need 2 side tables. Each side table was, everything's like $500. Let's say $500, but that's by 2. Again, put by 2. How much are you willing to spend? $1,000 by 2. Or maybe you're only willing to spend $500. Let's put $500 here. This is an exercise to get you to understand how to do a budget on this so that you can plan to do and create the home of your dreams. All right. And this is a basic living room I'm starting with. I'm going to get into the kitchen in a bit, but right now we're going to do the living room. So $500. Next piece, we've got 2 lamps. 2 lamps, you spent $200 each, and you're willing to spend $500 each on them. Great. You have a console that sits behind the table, sits behind your sofa. Console table. You spend 800 bucks on that, and now you're willing to spend 1,500. You just can't. You might be willing. You might get lucky and have to spend less. But what would you be willing to spend on this? All right. Let's say you have. Whoa. Okay. I'll be right back. Shit. Um, I'll be right back because I got somebody coming at my door. So how about I come back, Barbara? How about I come over or come in? I'll come over to you or come in.
I just want to tell you.
Yeah.
Finish your call.
Well, I'm on a YouTube live stream. Thank you. Oh, the little baby cat. Oh, I'm sorry.
I won.
I'm on a YouTube live stream talking to people about how to budget. That's okay. You guys hang on. Sorry about this. Yeah.
What's the trophy for?
Oh, my dance competition.
First or second?
First. Thank you.
I know it.
Ah,
I love it.
can I come over?
I'm just putting. Just ignore me.
I'll come over in 10 minutes. I'm going to just finish this live too.
I'm sitting on the porch.
Okay, perfect. I'll come over as soon as I'm done.
Sorry. I'll talk to you.
No, you don't need to be sorry. I'm talking to people here. So sorry, my neighbor came over. She wants to tell me the dog caught the little kitten. And then not good, not good. All right, so we're talking about how to budget for your home design reno. What can you do? You can't stop people from coming in the door if they're your neighbors. She's got it. So we've got $1,500 on that console, right? What else we got in that room? We need a carpet. Okay, you spent $2,000 on the carpet last time. You're willing to spend $3,000 now. Write that down. $2,000, $3,000, whatever number it is that you spent before. And if you don't know, that's okay. Put a number that you think you spent. You can confirm that later, and then put a number that you're willing to spend. All right. And these are basic pieces that you're going to need in a basic living room. We're not doing anything fancy schmancy. We're just trying to get a budget so you can know how much it's going to cost you to create your dream home. And then you can save up, or you can borrow the money, whatever it takes, so that we can get you transforming your home so it's your dream. You should live in your dream. Everybody deserves their dream home. Carpet, lamps. We got a couple lamps. We're going to need a floor lamp. Lighting is so crucial. So here's a tip to create your dream home. Lighting is going to be crucial. It's nothing worse than coming into a room and you can't function in there because there's not enough light. You can't read, you can't sit down and, comfortably see other people. It's really uncomfortable. So we're going to put another lamp, and that lamp you spent $200, but now you're willing to spend another $500 on that lamp, right? All right, we got some basic furniture. Now you probably need in your living room, let's say you've got a TV, so you need something to put the TV on. That would be, let's say last time you spent $1,000, and now you're willing to spend $2,000 on that. I'm going to assume that you're going to use the TV, but you might want a new TV, so let's put that in there. Last time you spent $2,000 on the TV, and now you want one of those big ones. And this is your dream home. You want a big $5,000 TV. Put that down, $5,000. Okay. This is the basics of what you need just to create the dream home, to manifest a living room that looks great. You got to start with the budget, because otherwise you can do impulse buying. Tip, don't impulse buy. And if you have a budget, you got this down, you'll be able to make decisions that are good. You'll be able to make good decisions to create your dream home. You won't be haphazard and then be sitting on yourself going, oh my goodness, what have I bought? Oh my goodness, like, how did this Why have I spent $5,000 on a chair and now I can't afford anything else? Or um, I don't want anybody touching this living room furniture because I overspent on it. So we have the basics in the room. We have a couple side tables. Yeah, okay. Now you're going to need some art. And let's just say that you do have some art, but you're going to need one more piece. So last time you spent 200 on art, but now you're willing to spend $1,000 on art. Get you a couple pieces. Little tip on art, don't hang it too high. Keep it low. I've seen art hung up all around the room and it feels like you're in a doctor's office. And that goes for the TV too. Don't hang it too high. You'll feel like you're in a doctor's office. So number one mistake I notice in homeowners that want to redo their homes, and I come in and help them, and they're like, "Okay, so," and I'm trying to give them some tips, and I'm looking, I'm going, I feel like I'm in a doctor's office because the TV and the art is hung so high. I'm sitting down here looking up, going, wow. So don't do that. You want to have a dream home. You want to make it feel comfortable. You want it functional. Nobody looks at art. You can see the art behind me. I'm sitting down, and that guy's head. By the way, that I do that. That's my art. That guy's head is the same, practically the same height, a little higher than mine. And this guy, well, it's a bigger piece. It's a little higher. But I stand up. If I stand up, I'm going to be, head above him. So don't hang your art too high. Next, you need some decor. You need a nice tray for the coffee table, a pretty box to sit things, some decorative items, some photo frames. I tend to just put, you might already have some existing stuff, but is it beautiful? Is it functional? Do you like it? Because if you don't, you're not going to bring it into this dream home. So put one catch all because it's really hard for these small pieces. Put a budget. Say you're willing to, maybe you spent $150 last time on all the things you're kind of calculating. I would say just make one catch-all number for that. So you're willing to spend 500. I've put really easy numbers here. And if you spent 495 on the chair, please remember, just make it easy on yourself, make it 500. And because we're going to calculate all of this. I'm going to do it right here, right now, so we can see what this small basic um, living room is going to cost you to renovate. So now this is just the furniture. There are other costs involved. You may not have to do it, but you need to look at these if you want to create a dream home. What kind of condition are the floors in? Now, I said a carpet. I'm assuming you have a wood floor, but you may not. So that carpet number that you had, you might have wall-to-wall carpeting and you want to replace it. Or you may have wood floors that you want to take out the carpet and then you want to put the wood floor down and get a carpet on top of that. You need to calculate that. It doesn't matter whether you've done it before. Put a number down. How much are you willing to spend on taking out the carpet and putting a wood floor down? How much are you willing to spend? Put that number down. And then the walls. Are they the color you want? Do they look good? Because when you get in nice, new, beautiful furniture, everything else is going to pale and you're going to be thinking, oh my goodness, these walls look terrible. So you're going to have to minimum paint, but you might want to wallpaper, possible. You might want to have two colors. And you've got to include the ceiling. Number one mistake. They forget about the ceiling. And if you paint the walls and forget your ceiling, again, the ceiling is going to look even worse than it did when the walls weren't painted. So there is a cost. So how much are you willing to get? Or are you going to do it yourself? How much are you? So you have to spend the time and money on that. So if you're going to do it yourself, put in a number for the cost of paint and the supplies. And if you're going to have somebody else do it, how much are you willing to spend to have someone else do that? Put that number down. So there's some labor costs and material costs. Put that number down. Even if you've never done it before, put a number down in your head for what you think that is going to cost. All right. And then window treatments, curtains. Do you have something now? Those are not going to work in your new room, your new dream home. How much did you spend on them? Let's say you spent $500. So put that down, put $500. And are you going to reuse them? I doubt it. You might be able to reuse your rod, but don't go there. Just say you're going to spend another $750. $750 on a new rod and curtains. Great. I think we've covered it all. Except there's one thing. I talked about lighting previously. You might not have any recessed lighting. Now, I have recessed lighting in this office of mine, but I can tell you that when I bought the house, I didn't have recessed lighting in here. And it was terrible. It was such a dark room. So if I come in early morning or if I was here late, I couldn't walk into the room, hit a switch, and the lights would come on to illuminate the whole room to give me so I could walk in and feel comfortable about sitting in a nice room. I didn't have to bang into furniture. I don't have to stumble my way over to a lamp. I have lamps too, but the recessed lighting is fantastic. So there you might, before you paint, there's a tip, another design tip. Before you paint, you want to have electrical put in. You might want to have recessed lighting put in. And if you don't have anything, what is the cost of that? Now, you've never done it, so how do you know what it is? But put a number there because you got to put a budget down and just say, okay, the room isn't that big, maybe 4 hi-hats, 250 a hi-hat, some, $1,500. Probably more. Electricians are more. And you've got to run the electrical to the switch, and that switch has to go into the panel. You need to have an electrician come out and give you an estimate. So double whatever you think you want to spend on it. It's a lot easier to go backwards and say, oh, well, I was expecting to spend 5 and only have to spend 3. That feels good. Okay. So now we got the 2 channels, 2 columns. And the middle column, man, I'm not going to go through the kitchen because this is going to take too long. I'm just going to do with the living room, and I'll do another one without my neighbor coming in on the kitchen or a bathroom because there's a lot different costs in there that are hard to calculate with the that are different from the living room. Okay, so you have the middle column. So calculate that middle column. Figure out what it is. I'm going to do it right here on my phone, on the calculator, as you guys are doing it. 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,200 plus 850. So what you spent before was like $13,050. I didn't put in the paint or the flooring, the carpeting, the electrical. I didn't do any of that. So your number may be more than mine. I didn't put anything, or you may not have done that because we didn't have a number. If you don't have recessed lighting, you didn't have a cost on that. So now you spent that middle column. That's what you spent previously. Let's look at what you have to spend today. So I got 5,000 plus 1,500 times 2 plus 2,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 4,500 plus 7,500. Well, yeah, look at that. Plus 6,500 plus 750. 29,000. And that does not include the electrical. It doesn't include the carpeting and the floors that we talked about. It doesn't include painting. Didn't do the painting. Yeah. That's more than double what you originally spent. I spent, like, I was putting numbers down. What do the numbers look like you? I'd love to hear, let me know. For those of you that are doing the calculations, let me know how your numbers are. Now, this is a big difference. So, are you willing to spend pretty much $30,000 on, and I can tell you as an interior designer that the numbers I gave you are medium low end. These are not high numbers. To do a room, for me to do a room for my clients, 30,000 is a tough budget to do. Now, I look to, okay, where am I going to put the most value? What's going to get the best use? I'm gonna I look at how the budget gets spent. Um, so there may be less expensive items, and then I'll spend the money on the big items that require durability and quality. And I'll get some cute, less expensive, maybe a side table, lamps, where I could spend a little less money. But you can see that now you have a basic budget. Okay, the next part is homework. You got to go do this homework by yourself. Now, I want you to go on a website, furniture website, maybe there's a furniture website that you like, and just go through. I mean, don't worry about designing the room, worry about the budget. And pick a sofa. Say, oh, you really like Pottery Barn. I don't know why, but you really like Pottery Barn and you found a sofa. Put the sofa cost in there. And that was your third column so that you can see and go through. Like, just find something that you like and put it in there. And that's going to give you your real budget. But that doesn't even give you the real budget because there's so many options, et cetera. And I'm not saying find the right thing. I'm saying look for something that you like, put the price down. If you really like it, then you can start designing your room. But I want you to, the key part is to know how much you want to spend. I mean, you might come to 30,000 and think, hey, I want to spend more. I never, 14 years of creating homes for my clients, have I ever had a client say, spend more? Never. They never said spend more. I'd love that if they said spend more. But they usually are like, really? Price is too high. But you can see that what you spent before and what you're thinking now, there might be a discrepancy. And what the real price is, you don't know. So if you're designing your dream home, you need to get your layout. That was my tip way back in the beginning. You need to get a layout, and then you could start filling in the pieces of furniture, etc. You need to go and get some estimates on the floor, the painting, the electrical. We talked about that. Those are really key. And get these numbers together so you know exactly how much you're going to spend, or have a better idea. Compare it to what you thought you'd have to spend on the floor to what what your actual quote is for spending on the floor, for the paint, and what the quote is that you get from the painter. You don't, it's it's going to be very glaringly obvious when you do one thing, everything starts to look pale or pales in comparison to the new shiny object. And it's great to do in layers. So my advice, if you're going to do in layers, Start with the hard pieces, like start with the floor, start with your walls, start with your electrical before painting of the walls, before you do the floors. Although the painter and the flooring guy are gonna both want the other to do it so they don't mess up the other person's work. But it's really on what works best for you and your tradesperson. Now, I help my clients do this all the time. I totally project manage. I know exactly. Um, I have great trades, but I also know exactly what is going to be done. So I'm. This is what I do. I'm an interior designer. If you want to use an interior designer, add some cost for your interior design. How much are you willing to spend for interior designer? I mean, how much are you willing to spend? What is the value that you think is worth it for your interior designer, um, for their time and their expertise to create this dream home for you? Put a number in there if you want interior designer. So when you go to talk to an interior designer, you have an idea and you can compare, hey, my thought and reality. Or maybe your thought is reality. For me, my idea of what I spent, what I want to spend, and what I end up spending, they never align. They never align. Always spend more. Always spend more. I try not to, but I don't know how that works. How is it I always spend more? All right. So I'm going to wrap this up because um, I think this is a great start for you to create your dream home. I'm just going to reiterate a couple of points. Get your budget together. And if you don't have the room, if you want to do this for every other room in your house, this is the way to do it. Um, get your budgets together. And if you don't have a layout, just go with what you have in your room. And then you can use this budget that you created to create a budget for a different layout. If you decide, oh, you know what, we had a sofa, I really want a sectional. But make sure that sectional, before you go to order anything, this is just the beginning stages. Make sure you do a layout and you have it fit and you measure to make sure it's going to fit into the room. Okay. It's going to fit. I mean, there's scale, proportion, color. I mean, there's lots of design elements that need to be thought about, but I'm not worried about that right now. You're just getting started on your design project, your renovation project. And this is the best way so you can have clear in your mind what it's going to take. All right. If this is helpful for you, I'd love to hear, please thing, put a comment below. I'd love to hear. And if you have any questions about this process, put a comment below and I would be happy to answer your questions. So what I like to do, I like to help homeowners. You don't even have to own a home, but I love to help homeowners create the dream home. You deserve a beautiful space for your life. You need a reflection of yourself, your personality, your aesthetic, your how you live your lifestyle. You need to have that to support you when you come back. Our homes are our sanctuary. So this home should reflect you. All right. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate your time and I look forward to chatting with you.